You're about to hear, round 2, the second of our students' 3 poems. Are judges ready? With his second poem, here is Neil Cathro.
Beautiful Wreckage by W.D. Earhart. What if I didn't shoot the old lady running away from our patrol? Or the old man in the back of the head? Or the boy in the marketplace? Or what if the boy... But he didn't have a grenade, and the woman in Hue didn't lie in the rain in a mortar pit with 7 Marines just for food. Gaffney didn't get hit in the knee. Amos didn't die in the river. Sky didn't die in a medevac chopper between Con Tien and Da Nang. In Vietnamese, Con Tien means place of angels. What if it really was? Instead of the place of rotting sandbags, incoming heavy artillery rats and mud. What if the angels were Amos and Sky, or the lady, the man, and the boy, and they lifted Gaffney out of the mud and healed his shattered knee? What if none of it happened the way I said? Would it all be a lie? Would the wreckage be suddenly beautiful? Would the dead rise up and walk?
The Poetry Out Loud anthology is a rich one, and it changes a bit each year. Poems that are popular or ones that have been used frequently in national competition are occasionally retired. This way, the Poetry Out Loud program can highlight new poems for students and their audiences. Judges also appreciate hearing new performances, and teachers appreciate gaining the exposure for themselves as well. With her second poem, here's Jessie Fuller.
Envy by Mary Lamb. This rose tree is not made to bear the violet blue, nor lily fair, nor the sweet mignonette. And if this tree were discontent or wished to change its natural bent, it all in vain would fret. And should it fret, you would suppose it never had seen its own red rose, nor after a gentle shower had ever smelled its rose's scent, or it could never be discontent with its own pretty flower. Like such a blind and senseless tree as I've imagined this to be, all envious persons are. With care and culture, all may find some pretty flower in their own mind, some talent that is rare.
Our next competitor stated, "I've always been enamored with poetry and the way that such seemingly simple lines can bring to life a story or illuminate an idea. Growing up, my favorite poet was Edgar Allan Poe. I know he's kind of synonymous with all things creepy, but I sincerely enjoy the lyricism and emotion that makes his work unique to me." With her second poem, here's Alyssa Moncure.
Dover Beach by Matthew Arnold. The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full. The moon lies fair. Upon the straits on the French coast the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window. Sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray. Where the sea meets the moon-blanched land, listen. You hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. at their return up the high strand. Begin and cease, and then again begin, with tremulous cadence slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound of thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full and round earth's shore, lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges drear and naked shingles of the world. Ah, love, let us be true to one another. For the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night.
Although the scholarship money and a free trip are great, this contest is successful in even more meaningful ways. It's best summed up by a state champion at the national finals in a recent year. Honestly, what I loved so much about Poetry Out Loud, and still cherish, is the connection it brought me to the arts and those who value it as I do. Our next student would like to say thank you for all of the support from family, school friends, and friends from church in her work in this contest process. With her second poem, this is Kara Wolf.
Piano by D.H. Lawrence. Softly, in the dusk, a woman is singing to me, taking me back down the vista of years till I see a child sitting under the piano in the boom of the tingling strings, and pressing the small, poised feet of a mother who smiles as she sings. In spite of myself, this insidious mastery of song betrays me back till the heart of me weeps to belong to the old Sunday evenings at home with winter outside, and hymns in the cozy parlor, the tinkling piano our guide. So now it is vain for the singer to burst into clamor, with the great black piano appassionato. The glamour of childish days is upon me. My manhood is cast. Down in the flood of remembrance, I weep like a child for the past.
Accurate memorization of a poem, much less 3 poems, is no small feat. Each student here has his or her own approach. I've known students to record their voices reading their poems on their phones and play the recitations on their headphones through the day. Our next student says, I approach memorization one stanza at a time. I repeat it out loud, and once I have one stanza memorized, I continue on to the next. Piece by piece, he achieves that goal with more stanzas and his second poem, Alex Hall.
Invitation to Love by Paul Lawrence Dunbar. Come when the nights are bright with stars, or come when the moon is mellow. Come when the sun his golden bars drops on the hayfield yellow. Come in the twilight, soft and gray. Come in the night or come in the day. Come, O love, whene'er you may, and you are welcome. Welcome. You are sweet. Oh love, dear love, you are soft as the nesting dove. Come to my heart and bring it to rest as the bird flies home to its welcome nest. Come when my heart is full of grief or when my heart is merry. Come with the falling of the leaf or with the reddening cherry. Come when the year's first blossom blows. Come when the summer gleams and glows. Come with the winter's drifting snows, and you are welcome. Welcome.
Not only do these students learn their 3 poems, they also learn a great deal about this art form overall. After participating in the school and regional contests last year, one Missouri student wrote, "Poetry always surprises me with its brevity, the way it can strip an issue or occurrence down to the very heart, the way that 10 short lines can move me in a way that 10 paragraphs couldn't. As Albert Einstein once said, any fool can make things bigger, more complex, and more violent. It takes a touch of genius and a lot of courage to move in the opposite direction." Here's Emily Sullinger.
Her Kind by Anne Sexton. I have gone out, a possessed witch, haunting the black air, braver at night. Dreaming evil, I have done my hitch over the plain houses, light by light. Lonely thing, 12-fingered, out of mind. A woman like that is not a woman, quite. I have been her kind. I've found the warm caves in the woods, filled them with skillets, carving shelves, closets, silks, innumerable goods. Fixed the suppers for the worms and the elves, whining, rearranging the disaligned. A woman like that is misunderstood. I have been her kind. I've ridden in your cart's driver, waved my nude arms at villages going by, learning the last bright routes. Survivor, where your flames still bite my thighs and my ribs crack, where your wheels wind. A woman like that is not ashamed to die. I have been her kind.
In partnership with state agencies, this project challenges the perception that poetry is a marginal art by making it directly relevant to the American experience, helping poetry regain a central presence in our culture and helping poets gain recognition for their work from a wide readership are among the specific aims. Seeing how these poems resonate with these young people, it's obvious we get to be the beneficiaries of this effort. With her second poem, Vernaquia Foster.
April Love by Ernest Dawson. We have walked in love's land a little way. We have learnt his lesson a little while. And shall we not part at the end of day with a sigh, a smile, a little while in the shine of the sun? We were twined together, joined lips, forgot how the shadows fall when the day is done and when love is not. We have made no vows. There will none be broke. Our love was free as the wind on the hill. There was no word said we need wish unspoke. We have wrought no ill. So shall we not part at the end of day, who have loved and lingered a little while? Join the lips for the last time. Go our way with a sigh, a smile. Thank you.
Personally, when I first tried poetry out loud in my own classroom, I was immediately convinced that this could change the way I approached poetry analysis. Not to mention, it could bring more performance opportunities to my regular English language arts classroom. I'm sure this has been the case with the other influential teachers who are here today. It's introduced me to poets that I would have never found in our 8-pound English language arts textbook, and convinced me that more students than I can name can find something profound in a poem and find something profound in themselves. With her next poem, here is Maya Bryant.
The Ocean by Nathaniel Hawthorne. The ocean has its silent caves, deep, quiet, and alone. Though there be fury on the waves, beneath them there is none. The awful spirits of the deep hold their communion there, and there are those for whom we weep, the young, the bright, the fair. Calmly the wearied seamen rest beneath their own blue sea. The ocean solitudes are blessed, for there is purity. The earth has guilt, the earth has care. Unquiet are its graves, but peaceful sleep is ever there beneath the dark blue waves.
Rehearsal is an important part of preparing for a contest like this. Students work individually, get coaching from teachers, and hopefully perform in classes in their schools in preparation for the local, regional, state, and national contests. Many former Missouri champions on the regional and state level have had opportunities to perform for civic organizations in their community and for dignitaries around the state. When you have a chance, regional champions, let us know so we can share in your ongoing accomplishments. With her second selection, here's Caitlin Davis.
The Negro Speaks of Rivers by Langston Hughes. I've known rivers. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers. Ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers.
The next performer would advise a fellow student who had never recited a poem before to find a poem that he or she can relate to and either read it aloud or watch someone else recite it. He says the words, once spoken, come to life and help the reader understand them more than simply reading them on their own. He'd like to thank Mr. Jennings and Mr. Kozak for helping him over the past 2 years with this process. This is Sam Pointer.
A History Without Suffering by E.A. Markham. In this poem, there is no suffering. It spans hundreds of years and records no deaths, connecting, when it can, those moments where people are healthy and happy, content to be alive. A chapter, maybe a volume shorn of violence, consists of an adult reading aimlessly. This line is the length of a full life smuggled in while no one was plotting against a neighbor, except in jest. Then, after a gap, comes Nellie. She's in a drought-fisted field with a hoe. This is her 12th year on the land, and today her back doesn't hurt. Catechisms of self-pity and of murder have declared a day's truce in the civil war within her. So today, we can bring Nellie, content with herself, with the world, into our history for a day. In the next generation, we find a suitable subject camping near the border of a divided country. For a while, no one knows how near. For these few lines, she is ours. But how about the lovers, you ask? The freshly washed body close to yours? Sounds, smells, tastes, anticipation of the young, the edited memory of the rest of us? How about thoughts higher than their thinkers? Yes, give them half a line and a mass of footnotes. They have their own privileged history, like inherited income beside our husbandry. We bring our history up to date in a city like London. Someone's just paid the mortgage, is free of guilt and not dying of cancer, and going past the newsstand doesn't see a headline advertising torture. This is all recommended reading, but in small doses. It shows you can avoid suffering if you try.
This concludes our second round.